there is another bizarre and disturbing story I want to discuss. An attack in the West Bank. An 18-year-old Druze school pupil who was being treated in a hospital in Jenin after a car accident was kidnapped from the facility by Palestinian gunmen who took him off a life support machine. He later died. It's understood the group of kidnappers thought Tiran Fero was an IDF soldier. They abducted him in front of his father at the hospital and took him to the Jenin refugee camp. Israel and the Palestinian Authority are in talks to arrange for his body to be released. Defense Minister Benny Gantz later conducting a security assessment and then deciding to close the checkpoints around the Jenin area. Correspondent Pierre Kloschendler was at the Gilboa checkpoint earlier and filed this report.
This is from where 18-year-old 12th grader Israeli Druze Tiran Fero and a friend crossed Israeli territory into the West Bank to go to the city of Jenin, which is a few miles away from here to the east. But on the way, they had a traffic accident. Tiran Fero's friend was wounded and evacuated to Israeli hospitals, but Tiran Fero was so severely wounded that the decision was taken to hospitalize him in the emergency room of the Ibn Sira hospital in the Palestinian town of Jenin. And yesterday, in the evening, 20 to 30 armed Palestinian gunmen representing all the Palestinian factions came into the hospital and snatched the body of Tiran Fero to hide it probably in the refugee camp of Jenin. Now, maximal pressure is exerted by Israel's security and defense forces on the Palestinian town of Jenin in order to retrieve the body of Tiran Fero. The crossing point here has been closed to Palestinian workers who work inside Israel, as well as to Israeli visitors, mostly Arabs, who come to Jenin either for leisure or for business. But at the same time, Israel is preparing a military operation into the hotspot of the refugee camp of Jenin to retrieve the body if the emergency negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Authority to retrieve the body do not bear fruit.
We are not against a military operation, but we would prefer to avoid having additional bereaved families of Israeli soldiers.
Eddie Pero is in constant touch with the Israeli authorities. He just spoke to the outgoing Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. Together with Tiran's father, Hussam, he rushed to the bedside of Tiran in the emergency room of the Ibn Sina hospital in Jenin.
At around 8 p.m. yesterday evening, armed gunmen entered the emergency room. We retreated to a hideout in town. Tiran was breathing and alive. These beasts, like Sudanese militias or something, they disconnected Tiran from the respirator and snatched him. He was murdered.
The Palestinian gunmen are reportedly demanding the release of Palestinian prisoners and/or of bodies of Palestinian terrorists killed by the Israeli military in exchange for the body of Tiran Fero. Tiran was due to turn 18 tomorrow. Pierre Kloschendler, Daliyat, el-Carmel, I-24 News.